Hey crypto dads, welcome back to another episode of Dad's Gone Crypto. I'm Crypto Dad Sean, your favorite crypto dad, flying solo today. Don't tell Ryan. And man, oh man, have I got a show for you. August is upon us, and just like summer's barbecue, crypto markets are sizzling hot. Before we get going, wishing Ryan a speedy recovery from his man flu. He's infected his entire village and he's been quarantined to his bedroom. So wishing him a speedy recovery and hope you get better soon. We've got Altseason buzzing and it's heating up. Solana is basically prepping to take off. Tokenization is booming globally. And our buddy or pal, Michael Saylor, is back stacking Bitcoin like pancakes on a Sunday morning. Plus, PayPal has just dropped a crypto game changer with their stablecoin. So kick back, grab your favorite beverage, it's a beer, and let's dive into those juicy trends. All right, so we're talking Altseason here. What exactly is it? Well, imagine Bitcoin as that trusty family SUV, steady, dependable, but not turning many heads. Altcoins, however, are like sports cars, Lambos, baby. Flashy, volatile, exhilarating, and if you're not careful, you can get hurt. And remember, dads, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. Google have been very, very naughty and have been shadow banning our content for some weird reason. So now we got to put this in. All right. Remember, educational purposes only. Back to the show. All right. Right now, the Altseason index sits between 35 and 41, a noticeable climb since June's lows of around about 12. Yet still below the definitive Altseason threshold of 75. That's what we're waiting for, 75 and above. Historically, when the true Altseason hits, altcoins skyrocket by hundreds, even thousands of percentages. Remember 2017 when Ethereum rocketed from a measly $8 to $1,400? The wild 17,400% gain. Oh, Altseason, baby. Waiting for those days. Here's a quick fun fact. On the 2nd of July, Binance Futures saw an altcoin trading hit a staggering of $100.7 billion, the highest volume since February. This massive spike suggests an increase in retail, that's what we want, retail and institutional attention, hinting we are just at the start of something big. We can't wait. We can't wait. All right. So let's have a look at some sites. All right. So here's blockchaincenter.net. Quite a cool site I found. So they are tracking the top 50, if I'm not mistaken. They've got it at 41. All right. So we need it somewhere over here. Bitcoin, you've had fun. Michael Stella, please stop buying so we can hop along over here. And yeah, so here's the chart. Let's page up a little bit, down a little bit, if you want to call it. So we got to let it be over here. So it touched over here. We were getting excited, but then it kind of fizzled down. And now we got to wait for it to kind of push up to over here. All right. So these are the coins they're tracking. When that flips green and these start to push higher percentages, then you know we're in that zone. So this is the altcoin season index. If you click this little arrow down, they've got some really, really cool charts. Let's go Bitcoin rainbow chart. Let's see what's happening here. There's the rainbow. And this tracks the Bitcoin right as it reaches the purple zone, pushing up into this, hopefully the zone one day of $1 million. So we want it to be over there in the future, but that's why we're trading alts and trying to get into alts so we can basically take the profits from that and push it into a good old steady Bitcoin and let it ride that little rainbow chart. All right, so we got this is Coin Market Cap. They've got it at 35 out of 100. They are tracking the top 100, if I'm not mistaken. So we're starting to push a little higher. It's coming back down. It was at 43. This needs to go a lot more higher. But green over here, so these percentages have increased nicely. Let's have a look at a couple of these names. Ethereum. Injection Protocol, BNB, they've done very well. Link, and then we got some red ones here. These are the potentials. MNT, Atom. Okay, so these guys still have quite a bit of way to go. IMX, that was at, I think, $8, $9 at one stage. Now it's a measly 50 cents. There might be an opportunity there. So, yeah, we've got to wait for that. And then let's have a look at there was something else on this page. Where was it? Okay, altcoin season 87. Yeah, see, that's where we want it, around about that zone over there. Okay, guys, let's jump back. Okay, so the question is how to spot a full-blown alt season. Like, when are we in the alt season? Yes, okay, now we're in the 75% zone. Things are starting to happen. Well, the real test is when your barber or your grandma starts to tell you that, say, have you bought Dogecoin, or have you bought this meme coin? Then things are wacky in the alt season. But let's create a 10-point checklist that you can add just to kind of tick off. Has this happened? Yes. Has this happened? Yes. Okay, we're starting to be, yes, we're in the zone. All right. So number one, altcoin season index surpasses 75 points. Number two, the Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin being the dominant play, everyone's throwing it into Bitcoin. We wanted to push quite high. Then they say, oh, it's getting a bit high now. Let's pull out. When they pull out, what do? They take a ladder step down back into Ethereum and then into the alts. So it's got to plunge below 50% dominance. Huge spikes in altcoin trading volume across the major exchanges. That's number three. Number four, when your crypto forums and your social media explodes with like altcoin hype. Number five, media coverage heavily tilts towards your altcoins. That's like your traditional media. Now we're talking about Doge, going through the roof, and they're starting to talk about all these other coins other than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Number six, trending hashtags focuses heavily on altcoins. And you can actually track that as well. And then number seven, even the obscure, the dodgiest of coins. Like, you're thinking, how did that coin do 100 or 1,000x? I'm like, okay, why didn't I get into it? Why don't I know about it? And like, how? Where's the value in this coin? But it still did what it did. Then when you start to scratch your head, how these insane gains on these dodgiest of coins, then you have to ask the question, where am I in the season? Number eight, traditional finance experts start to regularly discuss altcoins. Number nine, FOMO begins to create widespread, from basically FOMO sets in, and there's like investors are like, oh, I want to get in. You got to get into this. Your friends are saying, have you got into this? That's when everyone's talking about it. And number 10, major market corrections follow the dramatic price spikes. It's like, yes, all right, I'll get into this coin. Cool. Then what happens? Tanks. You're like, oh, I'm just flashing back to previous years of riding the hype, and the FOMO. Oh, I got to get into this. You get into it, and then it just weathers all the way down. You're like, okay, let's wait. And you wait and wait and wait, and nothing ever corrects. So be careful of that. But when you have these crazy pumps and dumps during that, and then that's number 10 on your list. Okay. So all right, so let's talk about Solana now. That's also heating up, and there's quite a bit of buzz around it. So, it's been hovering around the $185 mark and briefly touched on about $200, but the analysts say that it's primed to ignite. So think about it in this way. If Bitcoin and Ethereum are like that star athlete that everyone cheers for, Solana is like that incredibly talented kid that hasn't quite stolen the spotlight yet. So Solana recently had integrations, they had massive developer activity, exciting new partnerships, robust technical indicators are getting analysts' attention and getting them excited. So yeah, it's definitely starting to heat up, and many see it as undervalued, given that it can scale. We've seen it scale with the Trump coins and all of that, where it had massive amounts of volume in a short space of time, and it held nicely. The speed, and most importantly, low transactional fees. That's why Solana came about. To bring that down, to increase the speed, and to be able to scale. So that's why this year is undervalued. Analysts also suggest that perhaps Solana could surge significantly as adoption in NFTs, DeFi platforms, and gaming start to surge. So if you're a hodler, just, take it easy. Don't just throw your money in or buy or sell, your dollar cost in, your dollar cost out. And obviously make sure that you don't follow the FOMO. And once you're following FOMO, you're going to get hurt. And obviously, of course, this is not financial advice. So don't play those swings. It's impossible to time them correctly, and you often get hurt. All right, guys. So now we're moving on to tokenization. There seems to be a global rise, and it's been made possible with the new regulations and obviously now the stablecoin, which is backed by the dollar. Remember, the dollar was backed by gold once upon a time. Now the stablecoin is backed by the dollar, creating dollar dominance. But tokenization, think about it in this way. So imagine owning stocks without traditional ownership rights. It might be a bit confusing, but think of it as tokenized stocks as digital tokens pegged to an actual stock. Think about Tesla. All right. So you're having tokens that are pegged to a Tesla stock, but I don't have the rights. So you're not getting the voting rights, you're not getting the dividends, but you directly benefit in the price movements. So you can get in and out easily. And it's kind of like attending a party, but only watching from the outside. It is still quite exciting, but it's different. The big deal here is tokenized assets provide 24/7 trading without the traditional brokerage hurdles. Plus, you can buy fractional shares. So if the shares are just too expensive for you, you can have a piece of it. Whereas in traditional stocks, you have to buy a whole one. And a whole two, and you might not have enough funds for that. At least you can get some form of exposure to these through fractional shares, which now opens up investment doors. Basically for a cup of coffee, you can get into Tesla, which is amazing, especially if you believe in what they have with Neuralink and the robots and the SpaceX and all of that, and how they all kind of interlink. Having exposed to them is easier now than ever. Platforms like Binance have obviously been tokenized, have tokenized assets and in leading that global charge. And it's not just limited to stocks. It's now expanding into real estate, fine arts, and commodities. So stay alert to regulatory changes and always ensure you're trading through compliant and reputable platforms to manage your risk effectively. All right. And what about our boy, Michael Saylor, our Bitcoin boy, Michael Saylor? Well, everyone's favorite Bitcoin bull, Michael Saylor, is stacking Bitcoin again. Like a tireless grill mastering at your family barbecue, Saylor keeps piling on the sats. MicroStrategy now holds an incredible 160,000 Bitcoins worth roughly about $17.7 billion, showing rock solid institutional confidence. That's a lot of Bitcoin. Do we do the pinky? Suppose only if you got Bitcoin, right? On the other exciting note, PayPal just launched PYUSD, which is fully regulated stablecoin backed directly by the US dollar and is integrated into their PayPal's worldwide payment system. So imagine using crypto to effortlessly buy groceries, pay for Netflix bills, or pick up your kids' soccer gear. PayPal is bringing that future much closer. This move dramatically boosts crypto's mainstream credibility and offers tangible everyday use cases, making it easier for average consumers to adopt crypto payments seamlessly. Wow, what an episode. And we are excited about the Altseason. And just to recap, well, Solana is poised to soar. Tokenization is revolutionizing investments. Saylor is stacking more Bitcoin, and PayPal is shaking up crypto payments. August is shaping up beautifully. So if you enjoyed this trend episode, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps us grow. And let's be honest, we need to restock Ryan's beer, especially because he's got those big kegs in his man cave and they're very pricey. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. That wraps up our show today. This is Crypto Dad Sean from Dad's Gone Crypto signing off. Stay safe, keep hodling, and remember, the moon isn't the limit. It's just our first stop. Until next time, peace out.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.